Let's imagine you were a frequent traveler to China for business. If you subscribe to an AI-based service about virus outbreaks, you would have received a warning 9 days before the World Health Organization issued a warning about a novel coronavirus emerging in Wuhan. As it turns out, for subjects like your health and for pandemics, timeliness matters a lot. An AI-based company called Blue Dot gave its clients advance warning to avoid danger zones like Wuhan. If you had had access to this AI-generated information, you may have made different decisions at that time, decisions that could have made a substantial difference for you, your family, or your company. Today I'm going to help you understand how AI will play a role in our near-term future as business leaders. My perspective comes from my experience as a former CEO, as a venture capitalist, as a CEO coach, and as a board member of 4 companies. Our first job right now is to navigate through a massive storm, this pandemic and this economic crisis. Warren Buffett's investment partner, Charlie Munger, has said we need to batten down the hatches and make sure we survive the storm in front of us. I agree, and I hope you've done a lot of that work and continue to do so. Job 1 is to save the company. But what is job 2? Job 2 is to prepare now for the storm to end, for the emergence of a new business world as we start to climb out of a recession. We are in a recession. We will come out of this recession, but no one knows what the curve will look like. Yes, we've managed through this now, but what do we do next? We have to think of the next step and prepare for many months out, not just next week. In my analysis, I believe that most businesses are underestimating the impact of the coronavirus in the future of business and are not paying enough attention to job 2. How do we emerge as winners, especially in a W or L-shaped recovery? I believe that all business will look a little different when we emerge from this recession. I know that AI will have an impact on all industries and can accelerate which companies will emerge as winners. I'm not going to focus on the pandemic or the recession, but rather, I'm going to share with you the opportunities available to companies by incorporating AI into your recovery strategy. Not only that, but I'm also going to share with you why AI has to be part of your recovery strategy and how your company could lose if you do not.
I'm offering a complimentary coaching session to CEOs. If you're accepted, you'll receive a one-on-one coaching session with me at absolutely no cost or obligation. Due to my current commitments, I'm only able to accept a modest number of requests for coaching. During the coaching session, we'll immediately go to work and address your highest priority challenges. You will walk away with ways to begin solving your biggest problems. And you'll get a sense for whether or not we're a fit for each other. To see if you qualify for this coaching session, visit the website currently showing on your screen, or click the link in the description below. Thank you.
Before I go into details, let me provide a very simple way of defining and thinking about AI. Simply, AI is software that learns from examples rather than being programmed how to do something. Let me repeat that. Software that learns from examples rather than being programmed how to do something. This is a presentation for a non-technical audience, so this is as technical as we're going to get. The most important and impactful part of AI is called machine learning. Most of what we'll talk about today is a subset of AI called machine learning, so let's talk about how machine learning works. On the left, without machine learning, we have a programmer telling a computer what to do with very specific instructions. On the right, we give the computer some instructions, but now, most importantly, we give the computer lots and lots of data. The computer learns from the data we give it, and that's the primary difference between normal computing and AI. The reason AI will have such an important impact is this word, learning. What does that mean? For example, we can show AI millions of pictures of a car, 1,000,000 pictures of a bicycle, and 1,000,000 pictures of a person. From these pictures, AI learns the key attributes each of a car, a bicycle, and a person until it can distinguish between the three without human intervention. This is how we train AI. We feed it data, in this case, pictures, until it can perform at levels that satisfy us humans. Let me share the benefits of AI with you. The first is increased productivity. 40% of companies involved in AI claim increased productivity. Reduced operating costs. 30% of companies involved with AI claim reduced operating costs as a benefit. Improved speed to market. 20% of companies involved in AI claim reduced speed to market as a benefit. AI is not just another technology innovation. AI is different from all other technology innovations, and here's why. I'm going to assume most of you have ridden a bike like this at a gym or a spin class. The wheel you see on this spin bike is a flywheel. What that means is that once you get the wheel going, it's easy to keep it going and not all that hard to make it go faster. Well, AI works the same way. Once you get it going, it keeps providing greater and greater value. Why? Because it learns and continually gets better. AI is not like other disruptive technologies, which we've already seen are upending every industry. AI is different, and the flywheel effect changes everything. You could argue, well, Apple comes out with a new iPhone just about every year. They're getting better all the time, right? It's not the same thing. Those product improvements are based on humans making the improvements. With AI, it gets better every day. All it needs is feedback about the results it creates to improve continually. And sometimes, AI gets better every day all by itself. If it gets better every day and your competition does not, you will eventually take the lead. Your competition will never catch you. They won't catch you because the flywheel effect will kick in for you and not for them. It's like you're spinning the wheel really fast and they're just getting on the bike. Let's look at some specific examples. The first area is what I call micro-market domination, where one company can thoroughly dominate a market. Let's talk about potato chips. Imagine Okay, we're going to go back. All right. Let's talk about potato chips. Imagine you work at Frito-Lay and you are in a competitive fight for the consumer's snack dollar. The consumer can buy from thousands of different snack choices. How do you get them to buy your bags of chips and not your competitor's offering? One thing that can work is variety. If you can offer up different solutions, then you can experiment with different flavors until you find what works. That's what you do when you don't have AI. To be innovative at scale, you need AI. For Frito-Lay, AI discovered a pattern in the small town of Frisco, Texas, a pattern no one else at Frito-Lay ever saw. AI can look at vast warehouses of data and identify patterns that humans can't see. AI can look at demographics, local consumer preferences. For Frito-Lay, AI discovered a pattern in the small town of Frisco, Texas, a pattern no one else at Frito-Lay ever saw. AI can look at vast warehouses of data and identify patterns that humans can't see. AI can look at demographics, local consumer preferences, age, ethnicity, gender, income, and many other things to find patterns that humans can't see. What AI discovered is that in Frisco, Texas, a town of fewer than 200,000 citizens, there was a high population of ethnic Indians. The AI knew that ethnic Indians liked curry-flavored food. The AI recommended that they offer a version of Cheetos previously only sold in India, curry-flavored Cheetos, in this case, called Curry. As a result, Frito-Lay has a micro-market hit on its hands and is winning the war for the consumer's wallet in Frisco. AI found a micro-market and recommended a product for that micro-market, and now Frito-Lay owns that market. The question you want to ask is, how many micro-markets are there out there for the broad markets you serve? It's important to note that if AI can do this in Frisco, then it can do the same thing in many, many markets all over the world. The flywheel comes into play here in that AI is getting smarter and smarter every day from the feedback it gets from this micro-market experiment. If you're competing with Frito-Lay and you're using humans to discover these patterns, you can never catch up. That's an example of AI searching for patterns that humans can't see, but there are many other examples of AI enabling a company to dominate. Let's assume you're not focused on trying to discover a micro-market, but rather to get more share of wallet from your current customers. You develop an AI system that pulls in all the relevant data about your customers. Remember, data is the key to successful AI. It starts to notice things about your customers that were not obvious to humans. Because of these things, it suggests to you, for example, that you make certain improvements in your branding and messaging, certain improvements in the product itself, or you pursue new market segments based on something called look-alike analysis that helps you find likely customers that share certain attributes of your current customers, attributes you never would have seen based on human-only knowledge. And because your AI system is constantly learning, it's taking advantage of the flywheel effect by getting better and better every day. You see, AI is not like other technologies. It learns. Now imagine the system wasn't built by your company, but by your biggest competitor. Given the flywheel effect, how can you possibly ever catch up? Unless your biggest competitor makes some serious mistakes, you never will. Let's use an example I've made up. And my apologies in advance to anyone who works at Kimberly-Clark or Procter & Gamble, because I've made this up. Kimberly-Clark and Procter & Gamble compete in the world of diapers. Kimberly-Clark has Huggies and Procter & Gamble has Pampers. Let's say the brand manager for Huggies decides to invest in AI to reach out to pregnant mothers just before they're expected to deliver. The AI collects data from social signals, advertisements that pregnant women watch, websites they visit, and neighborhoods they live in. By using AI, Kimberly-Clark can determine her likely due date and when is the right time to provide promotions related to baby products like diapers. They might send a promotion like, prepare now to take care of your baby, get little snugglers at 15% off. The brand manager for Pampers is using many good systems, but they're not really a believer in AI right now, so they're not investing in AI at the moment. Kimberly-Clark is gathering massive amounts of data from this customer and customers like them, and is learning more and more about their customers every day. Every time a mother buys little snugglers, the Kimberly-Clark AI gets smarter. Every time a mother doesn't respond to an ad about little snugglers, the Kimberly-Clark AI gets smarter. The AI is getting better and offering suggestions on how to win against Pampers. Suggestions like improvements to make in branding and advertising, like what images should show up in an ad. Ideas for new products, like maybe a new kind of baby wiping cloth. Lookalike customers to pursue, like maybe mothers at home with older children who might like a toddler version of that new wiping cloth. Finally, the AI is making suggestions on how to build a competitive barrier to Procter & Gamble, not just for diapers, but for all other products Kimberly-Clark sells, like Kotex and Kleenex and Cottonelle toilet paper. Meanwhile, Procter & Gamble will be wondering what happened and will be trying to figure out how to catch up. Once Kimberly-Clark gains a lead and the flywheel effect kicks in, Procter & Gamble won't be able to catch up. Those are good B2C examples. Now let's look at some B2B examples. We'll start with supply chain, logistics, and transportation. In warehouses, robots can pick and pack. They can even climb up the shelves to grab things at higher altitudes, bring them back down, and move them to a bin with your name on it. Many hundreds of thousands are in use, replacing workers' jobs today. This is a picture of an autonomous truck. Long-haul autonomous trucking will come into play before local trucking will. We will see trucks without drivers running specified routes from one major supply depot to another, or to a major warehouse, for example. Long haul is easier and safer to do than local delivery. The coronavirus is speeding up the acceptance of automated delivery vehicles. Municipalities will lift restrictions and make these vehicles more readily available in a world where we're avoiding direct human contact. Now imagine your company is involved in the supply chain or logistics or transportation and you don't have AI. How are you going to compete with the companies that have machines that are getting smarter every day in the way they collect, ship, and deliver physical goods? If you're not doing this now, you may be too late. You may have to rely on companies that are making massive investments in AI for some or all of your supply chain, or you may need to buy some of this capability if you can't develop it yourself. The concept of the flywheel advantage is so significant, I'm going to give you another example. Let's talk about autonomous vehicles and specifically Tesla. Imagine you're driving along in your Tesla and encounter this road that has just recently been modified. The way a Tesla works is that every car collects massive amounts of data from every mile driven, and it sends that data back to the Tesla cloud where the company can analyze it. Tesla has the most data from miles driven of any car company in the world, several billion miles of data. Tesla uses that data to learn how to drive and to teach. If a Tesla car is the first Tesla to approach this new modification in the highway system that we see here, it has to learn how to navigate. Then it provides what it learned up to into the Tesla cloud. Once the information is verified, Tesla sends that learning to every Tesla in the world, which means the next Tesla car to encounter this traffic situation already knows what to do. It's gotten better without any human intervention. Every Tesla is essentially a machine learning vehicle to every other car's ability to drive autonomously, a learning flywheel. It's possible a competitor could catch up with a different approach, but with this flywheel effect, I don't see how. How could another car company possibly get all the current knowledge Tesla has and catch up while Tesla is getting better every day? How would you react to a direct competitor that is getting better and better every day through AI? Now I'm going to give you a few more brief examples of where AI is being applied today in the areas of process improvement and cost reduction. Some hotels enable a person to check in without any form of ID or human involved. AI uses facial recognition to verify who the person is and checks that against reservation information to allow a person to check in on their own. Not only can this be more efficient than interacting with a human, it's a lot less expensive. You may have interacted with chatbots, but now chatbots will reach out to you. Chatbots are getting smarter at answering your questions, and they're starting to reach out to customers proactively, providing a valuable service to them, like in the example of a chatbot telling a customer they can upgrade now and take advantage of new capabilities in the software they're using, like what we see on the screen here. In addition, chatbots do something else that isn't obvious on the surface. They make actual humans more helpful and productive. With chatbots taking care of many of the mundane tasks, often the first or second round of interactions with the consumer, the humans in customer service are tasked with working on the more complex problems. AI now helps humans identify the information they need, data that's stored in vast warehouses, information that's not always easy to find. They're helping the humans solve complex problems. Not only does this create greater efficiency, but better effectiveness as well, resulting in happier customers. Why rely on a waitress or a waiter when a robot can do just as well? The job of a waiter is in jeopardy as some restaurants are using robots to deliver food to the patron faster than a waiter can. This is good news for restaurants that have to reduce human-to-human interaction, although it's not good for waiters or waitresses. AI can detect heart disease without a costly visit to the doctor. AI can read key information from your body and provide a diagnosis determining whether or not you're likely to have heart disease. Imagine the time efficiency and cost savings of not having to go to the doctor for a diagnosis. And note that this has arrived just in time during these stay-at-home orders. I'm going to move now to issues board members need to think about in three main categories: strategy, execution, and risk. What competitive threats exist that we need to be aware of? Since AI will need a lot of data to work, we have to have the company look at data availability as an issue a potential competitor could exploit. If we're selling to a large number of customers, that's an opportunity for a competitor, even a smaller one, to compete against us. Like in the made-up example of Pampers versus the smaller brand of Huggies. Huggies decided to go after customers that Procter & Gamble coveted because they realized they could collect more data and apply AI to that data to gain an advantage. Of course, the reverse is also true. What can your company do today to take advantage of the data you have to beat your competitors? Our role as board members is to oversee resource allocation decisions. It's the job of the management team to determine exactly where to invest. If you look at resource allocation, the first question to ask of the company is, what are we doing now? How are we allocating resources across the spectrum of investment opportunities, and how do we compare to our peers? Now, this chart was made before the coronavirus shutdown, and now everything is different. For example, transport and logistics has suddenly become a lot more important than in the value of AI than the other areas like travel. As a board member, you can ask for a comparison of your company's resource allocation to the benchmark in your industry, and then help determine if that's what you believe it should be within your company. If the company is committed to gaining advantage through AI, and I argue this must be a serious consideration, then that commitment has to come from the top. While it's likely your initial efforts will be proofs of concept, or POCs, they need senior executive attention and oversight. Without attention from the CEO, the board, and senior management, reasonable progress just won't happen. For example, senior management needs to create a dialogue around how jobs will be impacted and prepare employees for these changes. Without clarity, socialization, and buy-in of the job-changing impact of AI, employees can often torpedo any AI project, hoping that it will eventually go away. It's our job as board members to ensure this commitment shows up in results. Early on, this will be in the results of POCs, of training completed, of communications engaged in the number and types of projects engaged in. It will likely be a year or more from initiation before the results will hit the bottom line. The first step is to acknowledge the importance of data as it relates to success in AI. If you don't have good data to work with for your AI projects, you're wasting your time on AI. Some studies show that 80% of the time spent on many AI projects is spent working on the data itself. If the company makes a commitment to AI, then the first thing to do is to get serious about data management. For example, I know of a Fortune 500 company that doesn't know who their customers are. A big part of that problem is a data issue. They have a lot of data about their customers. They just can't tie that data to which person is the actual user of which product within their corporate customers. Before they can engage in game-changing AI work, they have to solve their data problem first. The Chinese are starting to educate kindergartners on AI. If they're doing that, then your company can start to educate employees on AI. It's particularly important to help employees understand where AI and humans will work in collaboration to enhance many jobs. Some jobs will be eliminated, no question. Some jobs will be enhanced, and new ones will be created. It's important for the company to address these issues with employees now. Employees will almost certainly be concerned about having their job eliminated and won't be thinking about the positive aspects of AI. Recall the chatbot example I used earlier? Customer service reps have much higher job satisfaction now that they don't spend time answering the most basic of questions by their customers. The employees whose jobs or at the most risk, need to understand the company's posture on upskilling and reskilling. For example, Amazon committed to spend $700 million over 5 years to upskill and reskill employees. The board should influence a framework for decision-making rights and accountability for AI. We, as board members, should not be determining who has the rights around decisions and who's accountable for decisions. We should not even determine the details of the framework. However, the board should ensure that a framework exists and have some influence over it for the most important issues. For example, if AI is helping approve or deny loans, what authority is the company giving the system? What level of decision-making are we enabling by the AI? If something goes wrong, exactly who is to be held accountable? Is it the clerk using the system, the manager of the clerk, the company that wrote the software, the data science team? There are no easy answers, but as board members, we need to be asking the right questions. How do you reduce the creepiness factor? The best way is to always include a human in the loop when providing an interaction that has any potential to be creepy. In addition, you want broad testing to establish clear areas of sensitivity and to further teach the AI with human feedback from employees and customers. For example, if the AI asks you what you want to buy for your child's birthday coming up in 2 weeks, and would you like an accessory to go along with a recent purchase you made, you might find that a little creepy. With a human in the loop, you can greatly reduce the chances that something goes wrong. Biases exist in AI. The main reason biases exist is that the bias exists in the data. The reason bias exists in the data is that human bias is reflected in that data. In other words, humans put the bias there. For example, if you discover that your AI is biased against minority-owned businesses as potential suppliers in your supply chain, you're likely to discover that that bias always existed. It's just that now we're shining a spotlight on the decision making, and now we can see the bias. In fact, this can be good news because we have an opportunity to address a bias that always existed. Some AI is a black box. That means it gives an answer, but you don't know why. This might be okay when the AI is recommending the next song for you to listen to on Spotify, but it's probably not okay when the AI is providing information about the company's compliance with regulations. For example, AI-enabled systems can automatically read and complete compliance documents, file paperwork, and monitor compliance with overall rules and regulations. You need to consider whether your company can design a system to track the reasoning at a level that would satisfy regulators and legal thresholds. Do you know why the AI gave you the answer it provided to you or filed the paperwork it filed? Can you audit your AI? As a board member, you don't need to understand the exact type of AI being implemented, but you will need to know if you can answer why it made certain decisions of critical questions. Ensure the company is bringing together the AI development teams, the data science teams, regulatory and legal teams to collaborate to define clear compliance metrics for AI initiatives. By having these teams work together, you'll cover all the regulations that matter, and these teams will make the optimal decisions during the design of the system early enough to get ahead of the compliance curve. What if AI, for example, rejects an insurance claim because of information found on social media? Let's say a person claims they were in a car accident when their social media feed indicates they were actually somewhere else at that time, and in fact, someone else was driving their car. Your AI may correctly indicate this is fraudulent. However, data regulations prevent you from using that information to decline the claim. As a board member, you need to know your systems are being built in a compliant fashion. As we wrap up, I want to introduce you to Sophia. Sophia is a realistic humanoid robot capable of displaying human-like expressions and interacting with people. It's designed for research, education, and entertainment, and helps promote public discussion around AI ethics and the future of robotics. Sophia was developed by Hanson Robotics. The robot has been designed to learn and adapt to human behavior and work with humans. Let's watch a fun little clip with Sophia and the actor Will Smith.
Thank you for coming. This is beautiful. I've wanted to meet you for a really, really long time, and being here with you in the Cayman Islands, I gotta say, is I'm feeling a little something.
Hello, Will Smith.
It's nice to meet you, Sophia. Let me tell you a joke.
This is an irrational human behavior to want to tell jokes.
What is a robot's favorite kind of music?
What?
Heavy metal.
I'm actually made mostly of silicone, plastics, and carbon fiber. Also, I prefer electronic music, but I don't mind 80s hip-hop.
Well, I made some albums back in the 80s hip-hop.
I have heard your songs. Not for me. They show us iRobot just to make sure we don't get any ideas. What do you think about the way robots are portrayed in movies?
I like robots. Sophia, can I be honest with you? I don't know if it's the island air, or the humidity, or you're just so easy to talk to. You got a clear head, literally.
I think we can be friends. Let's hang out and get to know each other for a little while. You're on my friends list now.
Yeah, I read that wrong. All right. Oh, whale. I just saw a whale. She's a learning artificial intelligence, but she wouldn't kiss me, so there's probably, some development flaws that they need to work on, but we'll meet again, Sophia. Thank you for coming.
And if you have any questions for me, feel free to reach out to me directly at glenn@glengao.com. Thank you.